Hello and welcome to this video in how to get a job in player care. So let's go straight into it. So for me, there's a few main things that are going to get you a job in player care. That is qualifications, experience, outreach, skills and networking. So we're going to get into all these in a minute. So there is just a little intro about me. So my name's James. I'm player care at Portsmouth Women. Also an athlete, program executive at Future Proof, and I own a social media marketing agency. So I was a performance analyst intern at Portsmouth Academy last season, and I realised that performance analysis wasn't for me. Like watching so much football, and it was brilliant, honestly, to work inside an academy and all the staff were great, and to see how that elite environment works. But it just wasn't for me. So I'd say it's a massive thing. Try new things in football. If you want to get into football, try. If you're at uni and you don't know what to do, try new things. Because I was speaking to the player care guy at Portsmouth, and then I found out, wow, this is something I could really do. And then I fell into love with player care. So yeah, obviously also on the board I am a Liverpool fan. A little bit about me. So the first thing I would say is why. Ask yourself, like, why do you want to get into player care? Do you feel like it's an easy route into football? Because that's what I thought with performance analysis. I thought it was an easy route in. Definitely not. Same with player care. If it is just that easy route into football and you just want to meet players, don't do it. You're not going to be good at it. And yeah, I don't think that's the right reasons to do it. And then you'll also have to think of what type of player care do you actually want to do. So do you want to do player care in women's football? Because that's very different to player care in men's football. A lot of these women are working full time. They're working 8 till 5, and then they go to training at 7, and they're training 7 till 9, 3 nights in a row. Sorry, 3 days in a week, 3 nights in a week. And then they also are playing. So these women are very busy. They may need help with time management. They may need help with their jobs and all that type of thing. Whereas men is, if they're full time in professional football, and it's completely different. They may need help with finding a car. They may need help with, if you sign a foreign player, they may need help with a bank account or sending their kids to school. So player care is it's very different. You also have academy player care. Academy player care is all about making sure that youngster is ready for life after the academy. 99% of academy players are released. So yeah, academy players even more different. So pick a type of player care, I would say, to begin with, women's, men's, academy, and then focus on that. So here are the qualifications. Obviously you do need to be qualified. You need to have qualifications in order to make it in player care. I don't think you need all of these. Degree, you don't need it, but it helps for sure for getting into job interviews. Now the player care group course, I would 100% recommend this. Like, you need this if you want to get into player care. It's like, I've actually forgot how much it was, but brilliant course. So really valuable course. So yeah, that's quite cool. Mental health first aid course, you could do with that. You could do with learning about mental health for sure. That's going to benefit you. If an employer sees that on your CV, that's great. TAS course. TAS is all about understanding athlete lifestyle. That's a really good course. And then if you can do some additional languages, don't know if that's spelled right, my bad. If you do some additional languages, that's going to help you massively as well. Some of these first team player care roles, obviously in the Premier League and Championship, they have a lot of foreign players. I've actually seen some roles advertised specifically for people who can speak French and Spanish, etc. So it's just something to think about. So then we talk about experience. So for me, this is massive. This is like experience and networking for me are the two biggest things. So you may think, well, how am I going to get experience in player care? It's very hard to get experience in player care. Like, you need to get a player care job. But what I would say is, a lot of people who go into it, they've not they've not had a player care role before. They've worked in maybe teaching or coaching and then going into player care. Some Craig Watkins, who's at AFC Wimbledon, he's gone into it from playing, even though he had a little bit of time out, I think. So yeah, when I say experience, I mean, if you look at these job specs, it's going to say experience working with kids, experience working with athletes. So say you worked in, I don't know, Olympic rowing, and you worked with an athlete there. That's great experience. You've worked with elite athletes. You know their sacrifices they make, all this type of thing. Experience working within football, that helps massively. Again, you don't need this. I'm not interviewing you. I'm not employing you, but I would say try and get all these experiences. So yeah, working within football, knowing that elite environment, knowing, like I said, the sacrifices people go through and how much hard work's put into football, 100%. That's going to aid you. Teaching / education experience. So a lot of teachers, people in schools go into player care. A good friend of mine, Adam, is currently doing all of his teacher stuff, and he's a tutor at Sports Connect, I think. So he's getting that side of his work done. When he applies for a job in player care, tick, you've worked with kids, you've worked in sport, you've worked in education. So that is a shout to do that for sure. And then getting your foot in the door. It doesn't matter if you start as a kit man in a club. Start as the kit man. Start as the guy selling hot dogs. Start as the guy selling tickets. Honestly, it's all about who you know, not what you know. So if you can get your foot in the door at a club and work your way at a club, so many people do that. The academy manager at AFC Bournemouth, Sam Gisborne, I think he started as an intern. Then he went to get like a academy admin job at Norwich. He went back to Bournemouth. These admin jobs are pretty entry level. Within 6 years, I think, he worked his way up to academy manager. So get your foot in the door at a club. That is massive. So look at jobs. Again, this is really helpful. This helped me quite a bit. And I used to look at jobs daily. Look at the jobs. Look at the job specs. Study the job specification. Study the job spec. This is what employers are looking for. So you can see on there, it wants languages. You can see on there some jobs want 1 year experience working in football, etc. Look at the jobs, and it's going to help you out. It's quite addicting, like looking at the jobs and googling them and seeing what jobs come out. Apply for them. You never know, you may get an interview for one, and then that experience you get from that interview is massive. I applied for an internship at Burnley. I thought I'm going to try and get this. I ended up getting an interview and I was like, wow, that's crazy. Burnley's like a 7-hour, it's like a 9-hour train journey from where I live. So I went up to Burnley the day before, had the interview. I was thinking about should I even go before. I was doubting myself, went to the interview, didn't get it, but met some amazing people up there. And they seemed to like me to the point where they invited me up a few months later for a week to. They invited me out to the training ground. They showed me the player care processes, and they actually took me to Burnley's first game of the season when they played City this season. So they gave me a free ticket for that, which was amazing. So just a little example of, networking and looking at jobs. You never know. Apply for that job because you honestly do never know where it could lead. Like I've just got a job example here from West Ham, Academy Player Care Manager. This is actually a really good job. West Ham's a great club. Got some great people in player care as well. Good money, but it's just interesting to. Can I move this? Yeah, I can. It's just interesting to look at the job specs and stuff, and so I'd recommend doing this 100%. There's another one at Arsenal. This one's been on there for ages, but under 9s to 16s, what you'll find now is a lot of clubs are breaking down their player care into age groups now. So 9s to 16s, maybe 14s to 16s too, 16 to 18s, 18s to 23s, etc. Because the guy at Portsmouth who does player care, there's one of him, Tim, and he's looking after like 120 kids, and that's hard work. So what you'll find is there will be more jobs in the future because the bigger clubs can afford more people. So keep an eye out for these jobs. 6. So obviously this video is all about how to get a job in player care. This is massive. Outreach. It's biggest part for me for someone who's starting out. Reach out to people in football. Ask them for opportunities. find out more about the industry, be a sponge, and then network a little bit before you reach out. You don't just want to jump in and say, oh hi, can I have a job? Like, no, it's not going to work. It may do, but I doubt it. So network with people. I'm going to go on to that in a minute, but yeah, outreach is massive for me. So when I say outreach, I mean, you know, reach out to people, ask them about their journeys, create contacts, ask for opportunities, all that type of thing. Skills. So these are just a few skills that I think are important if you want to be within player care. So active listening. You've got to listen to players. They have their problems and you have to try and solve their problems. Empathy. You have to be empathetic. You have to put yourself in the shoes of these players. Like I say, players who are making a lot of sacrifice. I mean, especially at academy level, these boys are not going out with their mates. They're seeing their mates go out on Instagram and Snapchat, and they're, you know, training 5 days a week. You know, if they're full time, and they're staying indoors and they can't do that. So yeah, I mean, I have empathy for these players. People say, oh, they're rich. It's all a load of bollocks, to be honest. All that. People need to have empathy with these footballers because they sacrifice a lot. You got to be caring. You got to want to help. You have to want to help players, and you need to be able to put yourself in the shoes of someone else, like I just mentioned. So, networking. Create a network. Your network is your net worth, as they say. It's all about who you know. You know, for me, network and experience go hand in hand almost. You can, you know, outreach to anyone in football and ask for advice. You can leverage your network to help you get experience. What I will say is, if you want some resources on outreach and networking, send me a DM on Instagram, and I'll send you some stuff. I've got some templates of what to say. I've got like a database spreadsheet template of, like, you can mark out who you've got to, like, track who you're reaching out to, and I've got like another template of clubs, and you put in there who works for the club, and that just makes it a lot easier. It's very strategic, but listen, if you want something, go get it, and you know, you have to think about these processes. Have an online presence, so create a LinkedIn. LinkedIn is an absolute godsend. Like, you know, add the people in player care jobs, add the people in football, create blogs, create posts on LinkedIn about player care, get involved, and make a name for yourself. So we're going to wrap this up now. So just to summarise a few points, reaching out is everything. Reach out, be a sponge, ask for advice, create a network, get that experience. You know, work with kids, work with teams. You know, just get that experience. Whether it's work in football, tick. Work with kids, tick. Work in education, tick. Youth clubs, tick. Just try to tick as many things off, and then that's going to make you as employable as possible. Get on calls with people, get to know them, like I said, and yeah, message me for some resources if you want that. I'll be happy to send them over. So it's just been a quick video on how to get a job in player care. I hope it's been helpful for you. Let me know. I'd love to know your progress and how you guys are getting on. It's hard to get into, but it's worth it for sure. And you can do anything you put your mind to. So crack on with it. So yeah, thanks for watching, and all the best.